right. Well, welcome. Hey everybody, this is SAO Fourier here for Inspired Magazine, and I am here with the wonderful Jamilah Rosemond. Congratulations. You've just had a role in, one of everyone's most nostalgic films that came to Peacock, as
Yeah.
well as, so many other things. You're a singer, you're an actress, and my dear, you are audience a little bit about you, Jamila.
Yes, so my name is Jamilah Rosemond. I am in New York. I just graduated from NYU. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, this past semester. So I graduated a semester early. Um, I have a blog called Girls with Beauty and Brains, and that blog is to uplift and empower young women, um, and just share resources. I feel like a lot when especially in school growing up, girls were constantly being compared to one another and constantly being put against each other. And
Mhm.
so I really wanted to create this to talk about my experiences and to talk to other women in different career fields to talk about how they became successful and how they can help out the girls who view my page who may want to do the same career as them. So I talk to a plethora of different women, not only in the arts and entertainment field, but in other fields as well. I am an activist. I create my own work, my own pieces. Um, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's enough, honey, because that's really that defines your character. And we're talking about your character in real life, as opposed
Yeah.
to who you play on TV. So thank you so much. One of the things that kind of like stood out to me was, all right, so you just graduated college. So, and you just got, I consider this like a breakout role. I don't know if you consider the same
No,
thing.
I agree. I
This
agree.
is huge because everybody knows about the final chapter, The Best Man, and now it's on Peacock. How did you feel even auditioning or being, how was the audition for you for this particular role?
So the audition was a self-tape. So I didn't, and then I had a callback that was a Zoom, a little bit of human interaction, but it was a self-tape. But when I got the audition notice, I was like, what? I get to play Regina Hall's daughter and Harold Perrineau's daughter? I was like, oh, I
Yes.
have to get this. And so, I, did the work with my acting coach, submitted the self-tape. A week later, I got the call back, and then a week after that, I found out that I booked it. But I literally was like, this was one of the roles where I was like, I'm going to get this. I have
Yes.
to get this. And like, I just knew that it was for me. And then it's just so funny because a lot of people are like, I could see like that you
Y'all
play.
look alike. Y'all look alike.
I didn't even, that wasn't even why I wanted to, like, I don't see that, but I'm like, that's a plus. Like, okay, I'm glad
Yes.
y'all see that. So
No,
there's
that
like
was
a debate on
that
my TikTok too.
that
There
was
was,
like the first thing that stood out. So I was like, wait, she really kind of look like that's her child. I said, look
that's
at
what everyone is
that.
saying on TikTok. They're like, are you her kid? I'm like, no, no,
No,
no.
that's so dope. That's so amazing. And then you also just graduated school. So how have you been juggling your pursuit as an actor and going to school? And you go to NYU, and that's no joke. That's
Yeah,
nobody's money to
so
play with.
I think throughout this process of going to school and acting, because I mean, one of the thing with going to a university for drama, they're very strict on auditioning, all that stuff. But
Mhm.
throughout this process, I learned like how to advocate for myself. And so 2 semesters ago, when I booked a Netflix film that I did, that's not out yet, Rustin.
Mhm.
Um, I was going to be away and I wasn't going to be in person. And, the higher ups were like, oh, like, we could tell you not to do it, all this stuff. But I was like, I mean, this is what I'm going to school for. Like, this is what I want to do. And, I advocated for myself and I was like, I'll still do the work because I was on a mission to graduate early. So, and I didn't want this
Wow.
to set me back in school, even though I was still, acting is what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
So I was like, I'll do the work while I'm on set if you want to give me something. And so we were able to make it work. I didn't let that no
Hmm.
say a no. And so they're like,
Definitely.
okay, we can make this some type of like professional internship, whatever they had to call it to give me the credit. I was like, okay,
Yes, get
that's
it.
fine. And so it's tough, but I
Mhm.
feel like if you have a good relationship with your professors and like you are in constant communication with
Mhm.
them, they'll definitely make it work, especially if they want the best for you. So I definitely learned like advocating, don't take no for an answer all the
Mhm.
time and just keep pushing. It will work.
No, it
Yeah.
definitely did pay off, honey. It because all eyes have been watching Peacock, The Best Man
I
series. It's really,
know.
and I love the fact that again, it's a movie that how many years ago did it come out?
20 years.
And we were all like, okay, what's happening? And now we get a series, and here you are playing Regina Hall's daughter in there. And in one particular scene that I thought was really, really interesting, and I kind of want you to talk about that was it was this particular scene where y'all were getting ready to go out, and you had two dresses and you weren't sure which dress you wanted to pick, and you kind of went into anxiety mode, and that hit me. I was like, that just happened to a lot of us grown people too, and it
Yeah.
could be over the biggest things, the medium things, or the smallest things, it just depends. So I loved how she attended to you in that particular moment. I want you to speak about that a little bit.
Yeah, so Keisha, the character I play, she has anxiety, and I feel like, a lot of people can relate to that because it's sometimes always underestimated or undervalued. It's like, oh, they're
Hmm.
being dramatic, but it's a real thing, which is why Candace is, going to school to research how to help her daughter's anxiety. And so, yeah, I had anxiety not only because of the dress, but because this was kind of cut out of the script
Wow.
because there wasn't a lot of time. So this
Hmm.
is a little behind the scenes secret, but I had a crush on LJ. Keisha had a crush on LJ, right? Because she didn't know that LJ was non-binary, and
Wow.
because of time, they had to cut out a specific scene that kind of gave that away. But yeah,
Hmm.
so I was like, I had to have the perfect dress, like because of that situation. But yeah, anything like even the Karen scene that kind of flared up the
Hmm.
anxiety. Um, but just things like that where I'm like, I don't know what to do. I think also Keisha, you know, um, not suffers, but goes through this idea of wanting to be perfect.
Hmm.
And so that's also where her anxiety stems from as well. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting to play that, but I can relate to it. A lot of people can relate to it. So I'm glad that they put it in the show.
Yeah, I said, okay, girl, like I be feeling that way too, but just take a breath. Sometimes
Right,
that breath, I need somebody else to tell me to take a breath because I can't do it on my own. So
right.
it was just, and again, I love how something that we saw back then, right, is coming out now, and there's particular key factors within family, within relationships, within real life that we all who are watching it can relate to. Would you say there was another scenario or another scene that, was something that you could kind of like relate to? And can you explain that to us?
Yeah, let's see. Um, what? I mean, the Karen scene it's universal. I feel
Yeah.
like amongst uh, Black people. Like, I've never had that specific
Right.
scenario happen, but of course, like encounters with like white classmates. Especially in theater, you have those scenarios where they have this superiority
Mm-hmm.
mindset. So definitely can relate to that. And just like how social media was woven in, and just like the ideas of perfectionism, I feel like, I can really relate to.
Yeah. And I think we all do that too much sometimes. We all have this, especially now, I don't know why, where we should be like, okay, do your best. Your best should be what you can, and don't
Yes,
stress yourself, and where we're like, okay, I gotta get this, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. So
right.
definitely thank you for pointing that out. That's
Yeah.
something that I think our audience and a lot of other people can relate to. So, girl, I want to get into your organ. I'm gonna call it an organization because
Okay,
that's
yes,
what
please
it
do.
is. You know, you're doing something that's gonna be not beneficial to yourself, but to others. Tell us a little bit about why did you start your website or your blog?
Yes, so I went to a predominantly white school, and I was, I wasn't being bullied, but I would get the comments about, my hair
Hmm.
and like my skin color. And, I would tell my mom about, what people would say, and she'd be like, "Well, why don't you just write about it?" Because I mean, there was like a number of people in my school who were the same color
Right.
as me. And so I was like, okay, maybe I could talk about it. It was like just a small little thing. So like the first article that I wrote was about like how to love your natural hair. Cause like
Mm.
there was a time, I think elementary and like half of middle school, I was wearing my hair straight all the time. Like always had to get it done by the Dominicans every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made a transition halfway through middle school that I wanted to rock the curly hair. And that's when the comments like, "Oh, I like your straight hair better," all that stuff. And so then that's when I made that post and I saw how a lot of people from my
Mm.
school who, were also black could resonate with that. And I was like, okay, I want to do more. What more can I do? And I was like, I want to focus on black women and people of color and what we go through, but I also want to make this some type of unity for all women.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started just doing articles on different women that people may not know about. And then I was like, how about I like interview women that I just know,
Mm-hmm.
in my community or, that I can just reach out to and talk to them about how they became successful, just so that we can all, all be successful together. Because I truly feel that there is a seat for every woman
Yeah,
at the table, and society is always, always putting us together. You see that in the entertainment industry,
all the
with,
time.
artists and just everything. And so, like, just clearing that idea that we always have to compete, like we can literally all be successful together. And I just wanted to uplift that and emphasize that.
Oh, girl, I love it. I love it. And the fact that you started with your own school community, because not so many, again, some it is what it is. I grew up in the Bronx, I went to a Catholic grade school where I think it was me and maybe two other people who was black
Yeah,
in the class, so it was just one of those things where you just you feel what you feel for what you're dealing with, but you actually, you reached out to others and
yeah.
you became a source for them. And I love how that has developed. Can you talk about what's going on now with Beauty and the Brains? I love to hear more
Yeah.
about
So I'm currently reconstructing my website and then I'll continue to start my interviews again. But the next thing is to sell my Girls with Beauty and Brain shirts
it.
and
Mm.
use the funds to create a scholarship fund for girls that want to go to
Oh,
college.
you're awesome.
That's been the goal for, since I created it from the
Hmm.
beginning. And so I would love to do that. And I see Girls with Beauty and Brains being a mentorship program, women's empowerment.
Yeah.
What's it called? Women empowerment. Uh, I'm
Movement.
forgetting the word. Not movement, but conference.
Okay,
So
okay,
like,
big. All right, I see, I
meet
see.
up, yeah, do workshops and just things like
Yeah.
that to get, women and girls together,
Wow, look
share
at that.
resources. Yeah.
Well, you're definitely going to get a lot of more attention because obviously this role is going to lead you to more roles and you got other things coming out on Netflix, honey. What projects have you already worked on that we're waiting on? And what projects are you about to work on that we're going to wait on some more?
Yes, so Rustin should be coming out. We don't have a date yet, but it should be coming out this year. It's about Bayard Rustin, who led the March on Washington with Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. And a lot of people don't know about him because, he was this gay black man during the
Mm-hmm.
civil rights movement. And although he was fighting for, black lives and gay rights, a lot of people didn't want a gay black man on the front line
Right.
of this movement. And so, he's not really thought about. So It's going to be a really great story. I'm excited for people to know who he is. Coleman Domingo plays Bayard. I play Dory Ladner. She was a real person. She grew up in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. She was 18 at the time of the creation of the march, and she was
Wow.
on the front lines because there was nothing else, no other thing to do but,
Hmm.
to fight for your rights at that time,
Right.
1960s. So you had to do what you had to do. She's 79 now, and so I'm excited, and it was a blessing to play her. And the Obamas are producing it. So, and George C.
Ooh,
Wolfe,
listen.
yeah,
Hold on,
George
hold
C.
on,
Wolfe
hold on. Say
directed
it
it.
again. Who's producing?
The Obamas.
Okay,
It's
honey.
under their production company, and the legendary George C. Wolfe directed it. So,
Wow, that's huge, girl.
yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. So I'm
Definitely.
excited for that. We've been filming that since 2021, September
Wow. So I could
2021.
only imagine y'all ready to get it out there and
We're
start.
ready, but it was a big project. Just like this past summer, we finished wrapping the DC portion of it, like the
Mhm.
actual march. And it was just so cool seeing like all of the people, because we imitated the march. And so just seeing like what it could have been,
Right.
or just a little glimpse of what we think it was, uh,
Hmm.
is crazy. And there was actual people who walked in that march there the day that we shot, and so it was crazy to talk to them as well. And
Can't
it's
get
just
no
a
realer
great
than that.
reminder that it really wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, because they're still here to let us know. That's so
Exactly.
deep. Wow.
Exactly. So crazy, crazy stuff. As far as what's new, what's next, we shall see. I'm freshly graduated, and I'm ready to take on whatever I would love to create my own work and be a part of more empowering
Yeah.
stories for my community. I love telling stories about my community, and
Don't
so
we all? I love that. That
yeah.
that inspires me. Your energy, the work that you've done, it just again it makes me feel good. Like, oh my God, there's really so many other people out there that do believe in some sort of greater good, not just for themselves or for others. So that's just refreshing to get from you. So if you had to pick, who would be the three directors that you would love to work with?
Okay, I would say Spike Lee, Gina Bythewood did Woman King and Love and
Mm,
Basketball, iconic movies.
hmm.
And who else? Maybe Steven Spielberg, for a musical movie.
Okay, I like those options because those are that it just goes because I like to ask those type of questions because I like you to speak it out into existence.
Yes,
Because if you can think and see who you're gonna work with, you're gonna eventually work with those people.
absolutely, right.
Okay, so we're just saying we're gonna put it
Claiming
out
it.
there, and we're gonna put some more names on that list eventually as we
Yes.
go on as well. Oh my God, this was so refreshing. It's like I could talk to you for a little bit more. I want to know, what plans do you have for the rest of the year? I mean, the best man, this has been, a good start of the year type of process for someone who's in the business.
Yeah.
What plans do you have for the rest of the year?
So I'm gonna travel a little bit. I'm gonna go to London and Spain. I'm part of this organization called Girl Be Heard. I'm on the board for them, and I used to be a performer with them. And
Mhm.
so I'm working with them on their main stage performance, so kind of like an assistant artistic director.
Okay.
Because I'm also a teaching artist, so I teach kids. I teach
Go
kids.
ahead, honey. Go ahead.
And so work with them where I can, but also I see a TV show in my future, in this year. I'm just putting it out there. I see
Yes.
another movie this year, and so we'll see. Just constantly working hard, and we'll see what
As
is.
you should, because you have the skills clearly. You have the talent. You've been putting in the work. And again, that's the one thing we love to see is when young people have really been putting in the work. It's not just like, okay, you started this last year. And like I said too, besides you pursuing acting, you're being active in the community, and what you're doing on your own and trying to help uplift other people, it's going to intertwine in all your endeavors going forward. That's usually how it goes, you know? So it's definitely good to see it. It's encouraging and inspiring to hear your story. You know, the girl from New York City who just, you know, graduated from NYU and got a breakout role and is so talented, so creative, and she's really creatively putting everything out there. So it's only bound to spread and infect other people because that's the good type of infection. That's what we want,
Yeah.
Jamila. So, I
Thank you
mean,
so
if
much.
there's anything you want to leave our audience with before we check out,
Um,
websites,
yeah,
social media.
Instagram at jmills, JMILS. TikTok, which I'm trying to get better at, JCMILS, and my website is under construction, so stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
And I'll
And
also just say, like, never, like, this is so cliche, but literally never give up on your dreams. Always advocate for yourself. No one is going to advocate for you more than yourself. And so just remember that. Always advocate for yourself.
definitely. And it's nothing cliche about the truth, honey.
Yeah. Oh,
It's,
yeah.
it's real like that. It definitely is. Oh my God, Jamila, thank you so much. We appreciate your time here at Inspired Magazine. And, you know, we look forward to seeing you shine and doing a part 2 interview, honey.
Yes. No, this was so much fun. Thank
No
you.
problem. Wonderful.